So of course, I don't want to throw all these facts and all these things at you without having something to back it up. So one thing I want to do is look around and all the black women I know and see which one of them have ever faced dismissal, or the doctors tried to shrug them off or tell them everything's okay, but it's not, during their pregnancy or while they're in labor or postpartum leave. Okay, today I am here with one of my old teachers, Miss Easton, and she's going to be sharing a story on account of her sister about how she was dismissed in the hospital while she was giving birth.
Hi.
Okay, so can you just share your sister's story about her birthing experience?
Okay, so during her second birthing experience, I will tell the hospital she was at. So she had a C-section. The C-section went okay. And then the next day she woke up in a lot of pain. She made complaints to the nurses, and they basically brushed her off and told her that everything was fine. But then her husband got scared in the middle of the night, and he called our parents. He called our mom and dad and was like, there's something not right. I need you guys to come into the hospital because the nurses here are not listening to us. So what ended up happening, they did like an exam of my sister, and then she actually had to go in for emergency surgery because she was hemorrhaging from the inside out. Yeah.
So everybody agreed that that could have been handled better.
Absolutely. If when my sister first complained about having pain after her C-section, if the nurses would have paid attention, if the doctors were more attentive, they could have prevented her from going into emergency surgery, because it was a scheduled C-section. It wasn't an emergency C-section.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can you recount your dismissal during childbirth?
So about 4 years ago, I was giving birth to my son. I had some complications, and so because of those complications, I couldn't lay directly on my back. So when the nurse came in, her attitude from the start when she first came on shift wasn't the best, but when she came in and I told her that I was in pain, and she was just like, okay, well, I can't put you on your back, so it is what it is, pretty much. And some more time went by. Now I'm crying because I'm literally in pain. So I asked her again. I pressed the call button, asked her again, like, can you do something? Can we position me differently, because I'm in pain. Like, my back is killing me. The angle that you have me laying on is very uncomfortable. She dismissed me again. So when my son's dad came back in the room from moving the car out of the emergency lane, he sees me crying, and he's just like, what's wrong? And I'm like, the nurse won't reposition me, and I'm telling her that I'm in pain, and he's like, nah, this isn't it. Like, she's gonna have to figure something out. We understood, it wasn't much she could do, but you can at least do something. So she comes back in, and I ask her again, nicely, as nicely as I can, going through labor. She says the same thing, pretty much no. So at that point, my son's dad raised his voice, and he's just like, yo, she's in pain. He followed her out in the hallway, made a scene, because I was in pain and I'm crying. And that was when she finally was like, okay. And she went and got another nurse, and that nurse came and helped me. And she was just like, I'm sorry. How long have you been in pain? I told her. She was like, nobody fixed you? I was like, no. That nurse was very nice. She fixed me, she repositioned me, and I was able to, as comfortable as possible, finish my labor, I guess you could say. But it was scary, because it was just like, it was my first child, and I didn't know what was going on. It was just like, I'd already had some issues prior to getting to the hospital, and now I'm asking you for help, for support to make me a little more comfortable, and you're just brushing it off like, you're all right. I can't do nothing about it, but we got another nurse and she fixed it very quickly, and I was actually glad because the first nurse was leaving shift, and the second nurse who actually helped me, she was staying on for the remainder of the time that I was there, and the rest of my labor and delivery time frame went as planned. Like, it went good.
I hope you enjoyed that video and found it helpful. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe.